This is the moment the fairy tale started to fracture. The second the word authenticity stopped sounding empowering and started sounding like a warning label slapped over something far more dangerous.
We're accurate. I think the pulse of the people now really suggests that the public can see through PR.
Of a woman who was sort of plucked from the masses to become royalty. And
Diego, California, a seemingly exasperated Thomas makes a heartfelt plea to his daughter.
Well, I love you.
Everyone knows the brand. The speeches, the interviews, the carefully lit documentaries, the Montecito Mansion sermons about living your truth, owning your narrative, rewriting history on your own terms. Authenticity wasn't just a personality trait, it was the product. It was the business model. It was the foundation of a multi-million-dollar empire. But here's the problem no one wants to say out loud. When you build everything on honesty, your past better be bulletproof. Because the second people start digging and find cracks, it's not a PR hiccup, it's structural collapse. And that's exactly where this story begins.
The stories would come out. So apparently, according to other journalists, we found out that there were a lot of porcupines.
Because recently, something shifted. Not a rumor, not a stray tabloid headline, not a bitter relative ranting in a corner. Something bigger, something far more unsettling. Entire chapters of a life, not blurred, not private, but wiped. A specific year, 1997. Public documentation allegedly sealed in December 2018, and a family member everyone dismissed for years suddenly sounding less unhinged and more prepared.
Well, I was hoping that maybe we would have the chance to speak, that she would know I was here. But
this isn't about awkward teenage photos. It's not about embarrassing auditions or failed acting gigs. That would be normal. That would be human. This is about what isn't there. When top-tier investigative biographers, men like Tom Bauer and Andrew Morton,
many people out there have been speculating on that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually
the same authors who dismantled myths around Princess Diana and exposed global power players hit walls trying to piece together her early life. People should have paid attention. These are not basement bloggers with Wi-Fi and grudges. These are professionals who know how to pull records, cross-reference timelines, pressure sources, and find the truth buried under layers of image control. And both of them describe the same bizarre frustration. They couldn't find the real version. Not the red carpet smile, not the Netflix persona, not the polished Duchess brand, the actual human being who existed before the ring, before the palace gates, before the global spotlight. It was like assembling a puzzle where half the pieces were missing and someone had shredded the box cover so you couldn't see the final image. The Northwestern graduation? Documented. Deal or no deal briefcase days? On tape.
Of Meghan holiday celebration is Netflix announcing to the world, we are done.
Suits premiere? Photographed. But the in-between years? They fast forward. They blur. They skip. 1 minute, she's an unknown actress hustling for roles. The next minute, she's living a lifestyle that doesn't align with minor television paychecks. International travel, high-end wardrobes, elite social circles, European appearances, and not the kind you casually wander into with guest passes. The math doesn't math. Now here's where it gets explosive. For years, the public narrative was simple. She was the victim.
Hold a title no one expected. Not just mother, not just duchess, but grandmother. This isn't a rumor born on the...
Her half-sister Samantha was bitter, jealous, attention-seeking, vindictive. Every time Samantha spoke, the headlines framed her as unstable, easy to dismiss, conveniently dramatic, until she stopped yelling, until she started hinting, until her tone shifted from emotional to deliberate. And that's when people leaned in, because screaming can be ignored, but calm confidence? That's terrifying. Samantha began referencing documents, the 90s, specific years, hidden matters. She didn't spill everything. She didn't hand over receipts on camera. She planted seeds. And then she stepped back. And suddenly, the internet did what it does best: dig. Investigators, not mainstream journalists, not network producers, regular people with persistence and curiosity went straight to the source. California birth records. The name Rachel Meghan Markle. The year, 1997. Now, normally, if there's nothing there, you get a standard no record found response, and the story dies instantly. But according to reports circulating online, that's not what happened. Allegedly, documentation existed, but it was sealed, locked, restricted. And here's the detail that made people's stomachs drop. The restriction reportedly happened in December 2018. Let that timeline sink in. And then came the misdirection. For months, online investigators obsessed over a man named Joe Giuliano, labeled secret husband, hidden father. Thumbnails exploded with red arrows and dramatic captions. It was cinematic. It was scandalous. It was wrong. Marriage records? Absent. Verified relationship? Unconfirmed. Evidence? Fell apart under scrutiny. And when that theory collapsed, something far more unsettling emerged. Was Joe a distraction? Because magicians call it misdirection. You focus attention on one hand while the other does the real work. While the internet dissected Joe, the real focus was sitting inside the family itself. Investigators pivoted. They stopped chasing strangers and started looking at documented relatives. Family photographs, extended connections, a cousin named Shaw Johnson, a young individual referred to online as Noel, and the analysis wasn't vague speculation. It was detailed. Ear structure, smile lines, facial bone symmetry, eye spacing, the kind of genetic markers that make people pause. The resemblance to the Markle side wasn't subtle, it was striking. And that's when the hypothesis turned from gossip into something almost cinematic. What if the family structure had been modified? What if a birth in 1997 existed, but the child was raised within the extended family? Biological ties obscured, roles reassigned, custody within bloodlines, but official relationships altered. It sounds like a soap opera twist, until you remember how fiercely controlled the public narrative has always been. And here's the billion-dollar question. If Prince Harry had known about a prior pregnancy, a hidden offspring, a sealed record, would the palace have approved the marriage so smoothly? Would succession discussions have unfolded the same way? Would public acceptance have been identical? Because monarchy isn't Instagram branding, it's constitutional structure. The phrase born of the body isn't poetic, it's legal. Succession laws hinge on biology. And then came another claim that escalated everything beyond uncomfortable speculation. According to circulating allegations tied to Trevor Engelson, she supposedly underwent surgery during their marriage that would have made natural conception impossible. Now pause. If that were true and it remains an allegation, how do subsequent pregnancies occur? Archie, Lilibet. That's where online speculation spiraled into discussions about surrogacy, artificial bumps, concealed medical histories. Not because people enjoy cruelty, but because timelines in biology don't casually bend to narrative convenience. And here's what intensified suspicion more than any rumor. Silence. No medical clarification. No documentation offered to shut down allegations. No aggressive legal action against Samantha for making extremely specific claims about hidden children, medical history, deception toward the royal family. This is someone who sued the Mail on Sunday over a private letter. Access to elite legal teams is not an issue. So why no formal challenge to these accusations? Because fighting back means disclosure. Health records could be subpoenaed. Sealed documentation could be examined. Do not verification could be requested. Courtrooms don't respect branding, they respect evidence. And suddenly, the choice becomes impossible. Defend publicly and risk exposing everything. Or stay silent and let speculation grow. And the silence continues. Meanwhile, another layer complicates everything. Before Suits, before Harry, before global royalty. There was a period where expenses reportedly exceeded documented income. High-end fashion, international travel, elite social circles, European venues. Who funded that? Samantha has hinted she knows. She suggested undisclosed financial backing during those so-called lean years. If Harry believed he married a self-made humanitarian advocate, but financial support structures were never fully disclosed, that's not family drama, that's foundational misrepresentation. And then there was the correspondence allegedly linked to Samantha, referencing hidden matters, offspring, deception. Whether authentic or not, the timing was catastrophic, surfacing just as the brand pivoted toward lifestyle and wellness content. Because you cannot sell aspirational authenticity while whispers of sealed documents and hidden timelines linger in the background. Step back and look at the pattern. Missing years, sealed records, unexplained wealth, family members claiming secrets, biographical walls that even seasoned investigators struggle to penetrate. Individually, each piece could be coincidence. Stacked together, it feels like architecture. And here's the question that refuses to die. Why seal 1997 documentation in December 2018? Right after the royal wedding, right before global motherhood headlines. right when scrutiny peaked. Silence can protect, but it can also scream. And here's where the silence becomes louder than any accusation ever could. Because when someone builds a public persona on truth, empowerment, transparency, and rewriting history in the open, and then entire chapters of that history remain sealed, restricted, or aggressively blurred, the contradiction starts to feel intentional, not accidental. Not coincidental, designed. Let's step back and breathe for a second. We're not talking about teenage diary entries. We're not talking about awkward college romances. We're not even talking about harmless omissions. We're talking about a very specific year, 1997, that keeps resurfacing like a ghost that refuses to stay buried. A year allegedly connected to documentation. A year tied to rumors of a birth record. A year now locked down since December 2018. A timing that feels almost surgical. Why December 2018? Because by then, the wedding had happened. The global spotlight was blinding. Archie was on the way. The monarchy was invested. Titles had been granted. Public adoration was at its peak. The narrative was sealed in gold. And right then, allegedly, records from 2 decades earlier became sealed. Coincidence? Possibly. But timing in royal life is rarely accidental. Now let's address something even more unsettling: the reaction pattern. Whenever major accusations surface around public figures, especially ones involving children, medical history, or deception toward a monarchy, the response is usually immediate and forceful. Statements, denials, legal notices, documentation, swift shutdown. Instead, nothing. No medical clarification. No legal obliteration of Samantha's claims. No lawsuit demanding retraction over the most explosive allegations, hidden offspring, misrepresented timelines, undisclosed medical procedures. And that's what has investigators whispering instead of shouting now. Because you don't stay quiet when the accusation is easily disproven. You stay quiet when disproving it might open doors you worked very hard to keep closed. Think about the legal implications. If Samantha were formally challenged in court over statements about a 1997 child, medical surgeries, or hidden family arrangements, discovery would become unavoidable. That means documentation, health records, archived filings, possibly DINA verification. Everything's scrutinized under oath. Courtrooms are not Netflix productions. They don't run on branding, they run on paper. And paper leaves trails. Now layer that with another explosive thread: Trevor Engelson, the first husband. The man who has remained eerily silent while the world dissected his ex-wife's transformation into royalty. According to whispers circulating online, he allegedly revealed that during their marriage, she underwent significant surgery impacting fertility. If, and that word matters, if that allegation carried truth, then biology becomes the next puzzle piece that doesn't sit comfortably. Because Archie and Lilibet are central to succession, even if they step back from royal duties. In monarchy, lineage isn't aesthetic, it's constitutional. The phrase born of the body isn't poetic, it's historically binding. It determines hierarchy, it determines titles, it determines legal standing. So if there was undisclosed reproductive assistance, surrogacy, alternative methods, anything not publicly acknowledged, that would not be a minor personal choice. It would be a structural issue within a monarchy that thrives on bloodline legitimacy. And again, silence. No medical proof presented to silence surrogacy rumors. No aggressive lawsuit demanding retractions from those who claim surgery occurred. No detailed rebuttal explaining the sealed 1997 documentation. Just silence. And the public, once enchanted by the fairy tale, now stares at the gaps. Let's talk about the money. Before Suits made her recognizable. Before Harry made her global. There existed a period where documented income from small roles and guest appearances did not appear to match the lifestyle being lived. International travel, designer wardrobes, elite social events, access to European venues that don't open their doors to struggling actresses without powerful sponsors. Who financed that? Samantha has repeatedly implied she knows. She's hinted at names, at arrangements, at support structures never disclosed to the palace or the public. If the self-made narrative was incomplete, if financial backing came from undisclosed benefactors, that changes perception entirely. Because authenticity as a brand collapses if the origin story is curated fiction. Now zoom out and look at the pattern as a whole. Biographers struggle to trace early years. Family members claim hidden chapters. A specific year allegedly sealed post-wedding. Marriage records reportedly sparse and difficult to access. Unexplained wealth during lean career years. Medical rumors unanswered. Legal silence where one would expect fury. Individually, each element can be dismissed. Together, They form a mosaic. And then there's the psychological element, the intensity of the estrangement from her father and Samantha. Not mild distance, not polite disagreement, complete severing, absolute hostility, total disconnection. If the dispute were merely about interviews and tabloid chatter, the reaction seems disproportionate. Families feud publicly all the time, but if those relatives hold knowledge about a hidden timeline, a 1997 birth, financial backers, medical disclosures, then the dynamic shifts. Because that's not embarrassment, that's leverage, and leverage inside a monarchy is dangerous. Let's revisit that December 2018 seal one more time. 7 months after the royal wedding, global cameras fixed, pregnancy announced, succession secured, and records from 1997 allegedly locked. If it was purely privacy, why that moment? Why not years earlier? Why not before the engagement? Why not before global attention intensified? Because sealing something before scrutiny makes sense. Sealing something after scrutiny begins feels reactive, and reactive moves often signal threat. Here's another question that refuses to fade. If there truly was nothing in 1997, why not unseal it? Why not request public clarification? Why not end the speculation permanently with a simple official statement? Instead, the records remain inaccessible, and the public keeps watching. The Joe Giuliano distraction, though ultimately incorrect, proves something powerful. People sense inconsistencies. They feel narrative gaps even when they can't articulate them. And when one theory collapses, they don't walk away. They pivot. That pivot is what makes the story different from typical celebrity gossip. This isn't about petty scandal. It's about structural narrative control. It's about rewriting origin stories. It's about the difference between branding and biography. And here's the most uncomfortable possibility of all. What if none of this is true? If everything is authentic, what exactly needed protecting? Because when the foundation is truly solid, you don't seal it, you display it. And until that happens, the watching continues.